I once beat Jiang Zhao until he screamed and cried. Said it. With a perfectly calm smile, live in front of millions of viewers. For one full second, the entire set went silent. Then the livestream chat erupted. Jiang Zhao was a top star, the so-called king of the stage, and the man the internet kept accusing of having a violent temper. No one expected his own little sister to reveal that he had spent half his childhood running away from her. That should have been the biggest surprise of the show. It was not. Before those 3 days were over, a fake Heiress would invite the entire cast into my family's villa, call my housekeeper her servant, and then beg the director to turn off the cameras. But at the beginning of summer break, I knew none of that. I had just returned from studying abroad and was sprawled across the sofa, watching a live stream of my brother's concert. The music was intense, the choreography explosive. Jiang Zhao hit every beat with perfect precision, wearing the arrogant, commanding expression that made fans lose their minds. Jiang Zhao husband. You're unbelievably cool. Jiang Zhao, king of the entertainment industry. I love you. The music stopped, and the camera cut to a close-up. Jiang Zhao looked down at the crowd like an emperor, surveying his kingdom. He certainly looked untouchable. Then, my bedroom door flew open. Same supposedly untouchable superstar walked in wearing pale pink piglet pajamas and looked at me with the pitiful eyes of an abandoned puppy. Somo, come with me just this once. It's only 3 days. All the other guests are bringing their little sisters. Even that rival, who keeps clinging to me for attention, somehow found himself an adopted sister. He had been begging for days, determined to drag me onto the show. Absolutely not. I was not being heartless. One glance at the trending list was enough. Number 1. Jiang Zhao has a violent temper. Number 2. Jiang Zhao threatens reporters. Number 3. Jiang Zhao's new stage performance is incredible. 2 out of 3 trending topics were scandals. I had no desire to appear on television, just to be splashed with the same dirty water. When he realized I still would not agree, Jiang Zhao used his final weapon. You come with me. I'll tell you about the love triangle drama that's been happening lately. Fresh, complete, and 100% reliable. Gossip. That changed everything. Turning him down. After that would have been disrespectful to the drama itself. Siblings, Roll Out was a reality show filmed in a rural village. Each recording lasted 3 days, and the camera streamed almost everything live. A large screen beside the set displayed audience comments in real time, which meant every mistake could become a scandal before the guests even realized they had made one. When my brother led me out of the van, the live stream chat immediately lit up. Jiang Zhao is here. My husband is handsome, but it's a pity he always looks so cold. I heard he's violent too. The person above is obviously an anti-fan from Shang Yi's fandom. Right, shut your mouth if you have no evidence. Is that Jiang Zhao's little sister? She looks so soft and adorable. I quickly noticed that a group of guests was already waiting on the sofas in the rest area. The moment I saw a painfully familiar face, my smile nearly slipped. What a narrow road between enemies. Lin Chenji. My childhood best friend. People in the circle called him the crown prince of the entertainment industry. He had entered show business merely to kill time, played a few handsome, wealthy second male leads in popular dramas, and somehow became famous. The instant he saw me, his eyes lit up. He walked over and raised a hand, intending to ruffle my hair, the way he had when we were children. The comments immediately filled with suspicion. Lin Chenji knows Jiang Zhao's sister. Isn't he a spoiled playboy who's always hanging around clubs? Maybe the two of them bumped into each other at a bar. She looks so well behaved. But it turns out she's a party girl too. I had no intention of collecting a basketful of criticism before the show had even begun. I quickly stepped back and clearly distanced myself from Lin Chenji to avoid suspicion. He noticed my avoidance, silently lowered his hand, and lounged back against the sofa, as though nothing had happened. The girl beside him spoke gently. Hello, Momo, I'm Lin Zhao, Chenji's cousin. So. Well, the little girl who used to trail behind Lin Chenji with a runny nose had grown into a graceful young woman. The only strange part was that she greeted me warmly and ignored my brother completely. Jiang Zhao leaned close to my ear, confused. Why does she look like she dislikes me? Did I offend her somehow? You don't remember. I kindly reminded him. When we were little, you took the 2 chicks she was raising in her yard and roasted them. Jiang Zhao suddenly understood. He rubbed his nose and laughed awkwardly twice. Before my brother and I had even warmed our seats, another production van pulled up behind us. A man and a woman got out. See. The young man in a white suit was the popular rising actor Shang Yi. He was my brother's so-called rival, forever clinging to him for attention, and spending a great deal of money on paid commenters to smear Jiang Zhao. The woman beside him was Shen Baixin, a newly famous actress who had been aggressively marketing herself as a pampered heiress adored by her entire family. Their fans called her the little princess of the entertainment industry. She wore a pale pink kipao and high heels decorated with pearls. She looked exactly like a delicate innocent act specialist. Baixin is here. Everyone shout with me. Welcome the princess out of the car. Welcome the princess out of the car. Jiang Yi is so handsome. His face really does look like a younger Jiang Zhao. Stop clinging to Jiang Zhao for attention. His fans are sick of it. Jiang Zhao is nothing but an uneducated idol. Why do I feel Shen Baixin looks a little plain standing beside Jiang Mo? Are you blind? Our Baixin is the prettiest, no arguments accepted. Shen Baixin had clearly seen the comments comparing our looks. The moment she looked at me, a flash of hostility crossed her face. I should have known she would not let such a small comparison go. People who lived by appearances rarely knew how to ignore a threat to their image. Jiang Yi arranged his face into an obedient expression, lowered his head, and extended his hand toward my brother with obvious flattery. Jiang Zhao, long time no see. Please take good care of me during this recording. Before my brother could answer, the comments had already begun cursing him. See. Shang Yi is so polite. Jiang Zhao is famous for being arrogant and overbearing in the industry. Looks like it's true. Our Yi looks like a pitiful child. He must have been suppressed by Jiang Zhao before. I caught the smug glint in Shang Yi's eyes. He was manipulating his fans again. I immediately pulled my brother behind me, rose onto my toes, leaned toward Shang Yi, and spoke in a sweet, coquettish voice. Shang Yi. Why is the bridge of your nose reflecting light? Shang Yi panicked and covered his nose with one hand. Why, what nonsense are you talking about? I've heard my brother complain about it for ages. To ride on Jiang Zhao's popularity, Shang Yi had turned himself into a miniature copy of him. No one knew how many procedures he had undergone. Humiliated and furious, Shang Yi glared at me as though the Camry itself might burst into flames. Then stormed toward the sofa. Shen Baixin also ignored my brother and me. Pretending to be familiar, she walked over and sat beside Lin Chenji. Her fans immediately began pairing them together. The little princess and the crown prince look perfect together. People outside her circle aren't even worth a greeting from our princess. Shen Baixin is a genuine wealthy heiress. She slowly turned the teacup between her fingers, making just enough noise to catch Lin Chenji's attention and invite him to speak first. Unfortunately for her, Lin Chenji was completely immune to that fake sweet act. He picked up a magazine and lazily began turning the pages. Seeing that, Shen Baixin switched her target to Lin Zhao. But before she could speak, Lin Zhao jumped up, grabbed my hand, and pulled me down beside her. My brother took the seat next to us without a trace of hesitation. Zomo, I heard you just came back from studying abroad. Is it fun overseas? I want to study in England too. Tell me about it. Oh, and after we finish filming, can I come to your house and play? Then, Lin Zhao launched into question after question, barely pausing long enough to breathe. Shen Baixin was left alone in the corner. The smile on her face stiffened into an extremely awkward expression. Going on. Isn't Shen Baixin close to the Lin family? Something feels off. Isn't she supposed to be from a prestigious family? Why does she seem completely outclassed? She somehow looks too ordinary to belong here. Lin Zhao and Jiang Mo are so naturally adorable together. Two fresh, pretty girls in one frame. What a feast for the eyes. Shen Baixin stared at the comments, biting down hard on her lower lip. She glared resentfully at me, until her gaze stopped on the necklace around my neck. Oh, you have that necklace too? She asked in feigned surprise, deliberately raising her voice. Her raised voice immediately drew the camera crew's attention. The camera zoomed in on my collarbone. She leaned closer and narrowed her eyes as she examined it carefully. Isn't this a piece personally designed by Ms. Jada? There are only 5 in the world. I didn't expect you to have one too. But yours seems a little different from mine. She left the insinuation hanging, then pretended to realize she had misspoken. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply that yours was fake. Jadier's an internationally renowned designer, and I respect her work so much that I spoke without thinking. Please forgive me. The comments immediately leaned to one side. Someone dared to wear a counterfeit on television. I'm dying. Look at our princess's manners. The brother has a terrible reputation, and the sister wears knockoffs. What a rotten pair of siblings. Get out with your fake jewelry. I raised my small face, my eyes wide with innocent confusion. The director obviously did not want to miss such a juicy opportunity for drama. He deliberately kept the camera trained on me, waiting for me to lower my head and apologize. Instead, right in front of the lens, I calmly opened my chat app, tapped the pinned avatar at the top, and typed a brief sentence in English. 5 minutes later, Jada officially posted a message in Chinese on her social media account. Jiang Mo is my favorite student. I personally gave her a piece I designed as a keepsake of our teacher-student bond. The post spread across the platform within minutes. Jiang Mo is Jada's student. Jiang Mo Royal College of Art in England, Siblings, roll out, has a god-tier cast of beauties. Shen Baixin's face went from bright red to deathly pale. I casually closed the app, but from the corner of my eye I spotted a ridiculous trending topic buried below, Shen Baixin's luxury villa. This woman truly was addicted to buying hot searches. Furious, I tapped it. It was a photograph of Shen Baixin posing in a ballet dress. But she was not the point. Sofa, the coffee table, and even the clumsy painting of a little white horse hanging on the wall behind her were the point. My heart skipped a beat. My breath caught. That was my family's vacant villa. For several seconds, I simply stared at the photograph. Then, the confusion vanished, and a much more interesting thought took its place. If Shen Baixin wanted to build her entire Heiress image inside my family's house, I was willing to let her keep performing until the cameras were close enough to capture the truth. Same time, every hashtag attached to Shen Baixin's name began shooting up the rankings, pushing the topics about me out of sight. Shen Baixin's villa, Shen Baixin's heavenly beauty, Shen Baixin, princess of the entertainment industry. Within minutes, she occupied the top 3 spots on the ranking. Paid accounts flooded the comment section with nearly identical praise. My God, Baixin is a real princess. The difference in social class is so obvious. I'm so jealous. I'm a fan of Baixin's face. Mommy's girl is too beautiful. Baixin must be the visual representative of the entire show. Of course. Some viewers immediately recognized the publicity stunt for what it was. Shen Baixin's paid comments are way too obvious. How much are they paying per post? Let us earn some too. Jiang Mo and Lin Zhao are both far prettier than her. How shameless do you have to be to call this a beauty domination? My toes are digging out an entire villa from secondhand embarrassment. The reaction was clearly not what Shen Baixin expected. Her publicity stunt had failed, and worse, it had earned her a fresh wave of critics. See. She hurried to salvage her image in front of the camera. The filming location isn't far from my family's villa. After we finish recording, why don't I invite everyone over for dinner? You can taste my cooking too. Zhang Yi immediately seized the chance and nodded like a chicken pecking grain. That sounds wonderful. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to tasting Baixin's cooking. Right. Lin Chenji and Lin Zhao remained silent. My brother frowned, wearing the expression of someone who had been owed 8 million yuan, and did not say a word. I noticed Shang Yi secretly looking at my brother with ill intent. From his expression alone, I knew he was planning something. He would probably steer public opinion and smear Jiang Zhao again later. So, I quickly cut him off. Of course, we've been wanting to visit Baixin's luxury villa too. Right, brother? I spoke. I secretly pinched Jiang Zhao hard in the waist. He grimaced and ground his teeth, then nodded in agreement. Yes, yes. Whatever my sister says is right. Only, then did Shen Baixin reveal a satisfied, smug smile. She clearly intended to use this visit to cement her image as a wealthy heiress. I smiled as well. Fine. Let us see whether that multimillion-dollar villa ultimately bears the surname Shen or Jiang. After the introductions, the production team moved us into an icebreaker game. It sounded harmless. In reality, it was the moment my brother's carefully maintained image began to fall apart. The rules were simple. Each person had to name something they had done that no one else in the group had done. Anyone who could not match the claim lost 1 point, and 3 lost points meant elimination. Scoreboard was placed in front of each guest. Lin Jiao eagerly volunteered to go first. I won a gold medal at an international dance competition. Shen Baixin immediately grabbed the microphone. What a coincidence. I won 3 consecutive gold medals in ballet competitions, except for the 2 girls. All of us lost 1 point. Next was Shang Yi. I starred in an idol drama that ranked #1 in popularity on the streaming platform. Lin Chenji lazily lifted his eyelids. So did I. My brother was a man of few words. Same. The end of that round. The scoreboard in front of me showed the number 2. That meant if I lost 1 more point, I would be eliminated immediately. Seeing my miserable score, the corner of Shen Baixin's mouth curved into a contemptuous smile. She patted her chest and declared confidently, I own a private horse ranch. The comments immediately filled with overexcited fans, flattering her. Now, that is how a real princess speaks. She casually mentions a private horse ranch like it is nothing. Is that expensive? What would poor people like you understand? A single purebred racehorse can cost millions of yuan. Let me borrow some of the princess's luck. My brother and I exchanged glances. We read the same 2 words in each other's eyes. That's it. Private horse ranch was indeed expensive. But since our early teens, each of us had owned one. Lin Chenji and Lin Zhao looked equally unimpressed. Shen Baixin was so immersed in the praise on the screen that she pretended to be modest. Nothing special. It's really not that expensive. When she finally came back to herself, she realized Shang Yi was the only one who had lost a point. Her eyes widened, and the words poured out of her mouth like bullets. You can't cheat in a game. No matter how afraid you are of losing, you can't lie. Little Momo is young, so a little vanity is understandable, but people should be honest. There's nothing shameful about admitting you don't own a horse ranch, right, everyone? The comments scattered wildly under her guidance. Disgusting. The awful siblings are cheating because they don't want to be eliminated. Jiang Zhao has been famous for years and made plenty of money. What's so strange about buying his sister a horse ranch? Stop trying to whitewash him. A lie is a lie. Poor Yi Yi lost a point for nothing. Seeing me, suddenly splashed with filthy accusations, my brother frowned in irritation. 3 words were practically written across his face: I want to hit someone. Jiang Zhao was already known for his temper. And with those trending searches accusing him of violence, Shen Baixin nervously swallowed and did not dare push him any further. Then, it was Lin Chenji's turn. He smiled lazily at the camera. I love my fans very much. I shot him a disgusted look. What a show-off. Husband. I love you too, brother, work hard. If you don't, you'll have to go home and inherit the family fortune. I don't care. In this life I must marry Lin Chenji. Boo-hoo. This shameless free pass meant no one lost a point. Then, it was my turn. The game had reached a tense stage, and the atmosphere in the room grew heavy. Under everyone's expectant gaze, I gave a calm, elegant smile and enunciated clearly. I once beat Jiang Zhao until he screamed and cried. The room went silent so quickly that I could hear the camera equipment humming. A crack finally appeared in my brother's cold, cool expression. He turned his head and looked at me with an innocent, foolish gaze. Needless to say, everyone else was stunned and lost all their remaining points. Other than me. The entire group was wiped out. The livestream chat erupted. It's like a snarling Tibetan mastiff was suddenly forced to switch careers and become a husky. Brother Zhao, soar bravely. Carry your own beating. Top star gets beaten. 100% funny. Jiang Zhao gets beaten by his biological sister. 10,000% funny. Jiang Zhao, guess why I'm not laughing? The trending searches say he likes to use violence. So, this is the kind of violent man who gets beaten into tears by his sister. Look at Lin Jiao's expression. It clearly says, I want to try too. Everything I had said was true. My brother might always act like a domineering emperor in front of the camera. But when he was little, he had been a complete crybaby. I had been hot-tempered since childhood, so getting beaten by me became the shadow of his early years. First, Jiang Zhao tried resisting by threatening to tell our parents. Then, one day he opened my elementary school composition notebook. The topic was my dream. My dream is to become a cute octopus. That way, whenever someone annoys me, I can slap them 8 times at once. From that day on, my brother began obeying me in everything and never dared make me angry again. After this round, Shang Yi's scoreboard showed the number 3. The director regretfully announced that he was officially eliminated. Everyone else's score was 2. And finally it was my brother's turn to finish the game. The absurdity of the entertainment industry never disappointed the audience. Without changing expression, he calmly said, I have more than 100 million fans. The live stream exploded again. Brother Zhao is insanely cool. Save me, as expected of a top star. Out of those 100 million fans, 99% are fans of his face. Right, Shang Yi isn't inferior in looks. As for character, our Yi Yi beats a certain fake top star by miles. Wherever Brother Zhao goes, Shang Yi's mad dogs follow and bark. The delighted director announced the result. Congratulations to Jiang Zhao for winning the game. All remaining players are eliminated. I gave his dramatic pose 99 points. I withheld 1 point because I was afraid he would become too proud. Then came lunch. And the production team laid out a trap disguised as a reward. The production team led us to a rural house. 3 trays containing different quantities of ingredients had been placed on a round wooden table. The director's eyes gleamed with cunning. The winner of the previous game was Jiang Zhao. Therefore, Jiang Zhao and his sister may choose their ingredients first. The tray, with the largest quantity, contained ordinary vegetables and coarse grains. The medium tray contained meat, eggs, and rice. The smallest tray contains seafood. Although there was not much seafood, it filled a basket and was enough for 2 people to eat their fill. First glance, anyone choosing first would grab the seafood. But the director's expression told me the obvious choice was probably the wrong one. They'll definitely choose seafood. King crab and giant lobster. Just looking at it makes me hungry. Why should they choose first? Baixin should go first. Jiang Zhao's emotional intelligence is so low. Can't he let someone else have it? He won. Letting others have it would be kindness. Not doing so is his right. Stop morally blackmailing him. Why do I feel the production team is setting a trap? My mind raced, and I vaguely guessed the trick. I pulled my brother down and whispered a few words in his ear. Jiang Zhao nodded immediately. Director, we've decided. Our group chooses the vegetables and coarse grains. The director looked openly surprised. Are you sure? The chance to choose first is rare. The more he acted that way, the more certain I became that there was a trap. My brother and I answered in unison. We're sure. We won't change our minds. The director looked visibly disappointed. Very well. Next, Lin Chenji and Lin Zhao may choose. Lin Zhao stuck out her tongue playfully. Sorry, I'm allergic to seafood. Thus, the 2 cousins happily chose the tray with meat, eggs, and rice. That left Shen Baixin and Shang Yi with the final basket of seafood. Shang Yi was obviously delighted. But in front of the camera, he still tried to maintain a modest image. Baixin, and I never expected the last group to get the best ingredients. I suppose we were lucky. It seems my little sister Baixin really is a lucky star. Shen Baixin smiled sweetly and shyly at the camera. Not at all. It was all thanks to Shang Yi. Shang Yi and Shen Baixin have such a good sibling relationship. Honestly, I never knew they were brother and sister before. I even shipped them as a couple once. Good grief, people will ship anything. It only hurts others. No one said they were biological siblings. They're probably distant relatives or something. After every group had collected its ingredients, I knew the time was right. I politely raised my hand. Director, you still haven't told us how many days these ingredients are supposed to last. Zhang Yi seemed to awaken from a dream and repeated my question. That's right, how many meals are these portions for? The director smiled, as though he had been waiting for that question. These are the only ingredients the production team will provide for the entire recording. In other words, everything you have to eat for the next 3 days is sitting on this table. Shen Baixin's eyes widened. The corner of her mouth twitched, and her voice rose sharply in disbelief. What? Exactly. As I had predicted, looking at it from the opposite angle. The group that had chosen the seemingly worst ingredients now held the greatest survival advantage for the next 2 days. The comments began lamenting for their idols. 3 days. Baixin's group is doomed. The production team is too cruel. Why didn't they explain the rules first? So Mo whispered to Jiang Zhao, because she guessed this. Her intelligence and foresight are incredible. Smart. This is called scheming. The director must have secretly given the Jiang siblings a script. Why else would they give up the seafood? The awful siblings are vicious. They deliberately want Baixin and Yi Yu to starve. Jiang Yi also panicked. Not a trace of his earlier smugness remained. He raised his voice and argued, how is that possible? How can this much seafood last 3 days? Are Baixin and I supposed to starve on camera for the next 2 days? Shen Baixin was more calculating. She tugged at Shang Yi's shirt and pulled him back, warning him not to ruin his image. Then, she smoothed her hair, turned toward the camera, and wore an understanding, generous expression. Her voice became soft and cloying. Everyone, please don't criticize the production team. I don't think the director made these rules to make things difficult for us. Perhaps he wants to test our ability to cooperate. How about this? The 3 groups can combine all our ingredients and divide them evenly. That way every group will have vegetables, meat, and seafood. Lin, what do you think? After speaking, she stared expectantly at Lin Chenji, with damp, pleading eyes. Everyone in the industry knew that the crown prince, Lin Chenji, was famous for cherishing women and had never publicly embarrassed a female celebrity. But today was different. Lin Chenji's heart seemed as cold as a fish that had been frozen in a supermarket for 10 years. Sorry. I don't agree. Shen Baixin froze. She had clearly never expected him to pour a basin of cold water over her so bluntly. Sana de Bo dy. See. Lin Chenji could not even be bothered to raise his eyes to look at her. Lin Zhao already said she's allergic to seafood. That seafood is completely useless to us. Dividing everything equally sounds fair. But in reality, each group would receive only enough food for 2 days. Are you planning to make all of us starve for 1 day with you? He paused. Then added, also please don't call me Lin, as though we're close. We attended the same university. But we were in different departments and had different advisors. Just call me by my name. Shen Baixin's eyes reddened. She looked so aggrieved that tears might spill at any second. The comments split into 2 camps and tore at each other. Lin Chenji is too heartless. Why is he joining in to bully our Baixin? Her plan to take advantage of everyone was obviously exposed. They already said she was allergic. So, what if she's allergic? Eating a little seafood won't kill her. Why act so precious? Good heavens, why does Shen Baixin smell so strongly of green tea? I'm dying. Has anyone else noticed that she keeps deliberately trying to please Lin Chenji? Too bad he openly despises her. Seeing Shen Baixin shed tears, Shang Yi could no longer hold back. He did not dare touch the hidden power supporting Lin Chenji. So he aimed his attack at my brother and me instead. He put an arm around Shen Baixin's trembling shoulders. Suppressing his anger, he loudly questioned us. Your group has the most ingredients, yet you can calmly stand by while my sister is humiliated. Forget the facts for a moment. Don't you think you bear any responsibility? You should volunteer to share your food with everyone. You're unbelievably selfish. I stared at him, as though I were looking at an alien creature. Forget the facts. Then are we supposed to discuss this with our armpits? My brother was so speechless he could not even be bothered to lift his eyelids. Are you mentally ill? I was much friendlier and more sociable than my brother. I smiled sincerely. Why don't you call the police? Zhang Yi's face turned as red as a monkey's backside. Shen Baixin buried herself in his arms and sobbed pitifully. Jiang Zhao, you're going too far. Even if Shang Yi and I don't have the same status in the industry as you can't bully people like this. The comments turned ugly again. Her most devoted fans immediately rushed to defend her. Hold mommy's baby. They bullied our princess until she cried. Jiang Zhao's celebrity disease is too severe. That little sister isn't kind either. To put it bluntly, she's jealous of Baixin's looks and family background. I'm dying. Shen Baixin prettier than Jiang Mo. Even blindness has limits. Baixin is a wealthy heiress born with a silver spoon. Jiang Mo isn't even qualified to compare. The awful siblings should get out of the entertainment industry. Shen Baixin secretly glanced at the interactive screen. Seeing public opinion tilt toward her, she continued acting. And Jiang Mo, I know you dislike me, so you keep targeting me. It's because I accidentally exposed your fake necklace earlier, then I sincerely apologize. Please don't make things difficult for Shang Yi anymore. Alright. Peseft. I truly could not hold back and laughed aloud. Was this woman a living formation of gossip and insinuation? She never stopped speaking in that passive-aggressive tone. I looked at her with intense disgust. I know you're straightforward and wear your intestines outside your body. But you still shouldn't use your mouth to relieve yourself. Shen Baixin's face went pale with anger. You dare insult me? Lin Jiao hurried over and gently held my hand, whispering a warning. Zomo, don't argue with her. The audience will criticize you. I understood that perfectly. If I openly traded insults with Shen Baixin now, I was an outsider and would not suffer much. But my brother would certainly collect another basket of scandals. The cleanest way to beat a fake sweet schemer was to give her an even sweeter performance. She wanted to play with the audience's emotions. Fine. We would see who could perform better. I changed my expression in an instant and became the picture of an innocent little rabbit. Blinking my large eyes, I spoke in a tearful voice. Baixin, this is all my brother's fault and mine. I'm sorry. How about this? We'll exchange all our ingredients with you. Would that make you happy? My brother stood beside me and stared. Goosebumps rose all over his body, and he took a step back. The online comments abruptly changed direction. My God, this little white rabbit is completely black inside. I love her. At least she knows what's good for her. Our generous Baixin definitely won't hold it against someone like that. I'm finished. The little white rabbit just crashed into my heart. Is this how quickly women change faces? Terrifying. Afraid. I might change my mind, Shang Yi immediately answered. Fine. You said it yourself, we'll exchange. He rushed over, hugged the overflowing tray of vegetables to his chest, and tossed the skinny basket of seafood in front of me, as though afraid it carried bad luck. Then, he staggered away with the ingredients, while Shen Baixin followed proudly, under the gaze of tens of thousands of viewers. I calmly took out my phone and tapped a few times. Message alerts rang repeatedly from my brother's pocket. He pulled out his phone and stared blankly at the stream of bank card charges. Zomo. What the hell did you do? I grinned brightly at him. 8-date delivery supermarket. Express order scheduled for dawn tomorrow. At the dining table, Shang Yi reluctantly chewed several bland stalks of boiled vegetables, while forcing out a smile to praise Baixin's cooking. Baixin's cooking is amazing. Even ordinary boiled vegetables taste delicious when you make them. Shen Baixin blushed shyly. Nothing special. Usually we eat too many delicacies, so occasionally changing our taste and having simple vegetables feels light and refreshing. Sir. Fans took the chance to praise her to the heavens. My God, Baixin can cook too. She's so capable, gentle, and adorable. I'm jealous of Shang Yi for having such an excellent little sister. Look at the awful siblings next door. Jiang Mo is sprawled on the sofa and won't even lift a finger, while Jiang Zhao does all the cooking. She's unbelievably lazy. Both are girls. But the difference is like heaven and earth. Shen Baixin read the comments, covered her mouth, and pretended to be astonished as she interacted with the viewers. So my really. But it's only natural for girls to cook. Perhaps my family's upbringing was too strict. How could we allow men to enter the kitchen? All my male fans, listen carefully. When you choose a girlfriend in the future, remember to find someone as capable as me. Sitting on the nearby sofa, I listened to her preach that outdated domestic nonsense and nearly vomited. That moment, my brother carried a huge plate of beautifully arranged seafood to the table. It also included 2 premium steaks that Lin Chenji and Lin Zhao had brought over from the next room. Imitating Shen Baixin's sugary manner, Jiang Zhao looked up at the livestream camera. What's wrong with men cooking? So, what if we cook? Not only can I cook, I can wash dishes and mop floors until everything shines. Haven't you heard the saying that a man who can cook brings 10,000 pieces of gold to his household? He spoke. His hands kept moving. He peeled shrimp, removed crab meat, and placed everything neatly in my bowl. The comments, which had been cursing us moments ago, strangely softened. So Jiang Zhao is this capable. I'm done, I'm completely charmed. A man who does housework has fatal appeal. This is unreal. Is this really the supposedly violent Jiang Zhao? Not sure yet, must continue observing. Boo-hoo, I want a brother to peel shrimp for me too. Suddenly, My brother's gaze stopped on a comment that flashed across the screen. Little sister looks exactly like a greedy little hamster when she eats. So cute I could faint. I want to kidnap her and take her home. I want to kidnap her too, +1, kidnap her, plus me fei humtami sao. Jiang Zhao's shrimp, peeling hand froze in midair. The teasing smile disappeared completely from his face. He glared at the thin screen and roared through clenched teeth. Get lost. Don't any of you have little sisters of your own? Why are you trying to kidnap mine? The internet dissolved into laughter. The hashtag Jiang Zhao confirmed as a sister, doting maniac shot straight onto the trending chart. On the first day, Shen Baixin and Shang Yi ate boiled cabbage. My brother and I ate thick slices of salmon sashimi, steamed king crab, and spicy stir-fried lobster. That alone would have been enough to make them miserable. But the next 2 days were even worse. The second day, Shen Baixin and Shang Yi ate boiled kohlrabi. My brother and I ate pan-seared foie gras with red wine sauce, roasted lamb ribs with charred edges, and fragrant garlic bread. On the third day, Shen Baixin and Shang Yi chewed boiled carrots. My brother and I ate chicken stewed with shiitake mushrooms, sweet and sour pork, and barbecued pork. At our enthusiastic invitation, Lin Chenji and Lin Jiao even carried their chairs over to join our feast. After eating vegetarian food for 3 straight days, Shen Baixin and Shang Yi's faces had turned green. Shang Yi could no longer be bothered to pretend to praise Shen Baixin's cooking on camera. No matter how extraordinary her skill, cabbage was still cabbage. The mouth-watering aroma from our table kept drifting toward theirs. Hunger, combined with extreme jealousy, finally snapped the last thread of Shen Baixin's reason. She slammed her chopsticks onto the table and snapped, "How can you do this? You're cheating." I blinked innocently and answered, in the most guileless tone possible. But the rules never said we couldn't buy food from outside. Zhang Yi immediately rushed to defend his adopted sister. Baixin is only kindly reminding you. Even if the rules don't forbid buying more food, you're exploiting a loophole and wasting the production team's efforts. And you didn't even eat alone. You dragged another group over to eat with you. Aren't you buying people's loyalty and deliberately isolating us? My brother was so furious that sparks seemed ready to burst from his eyes. He stood up to curse. I immediately covered his mouth and forced him to swallow the profanity. Turning to Shang Yi, I smiled gently. Then, how would the two of you like to solve this? Shang Yi stared at the meat on our table and audibly swallowed. Since you went to the trouble of buying the ingredients, you should naturally divide them equally among everyone. Baixin and I should get our share too. What an eye-opening experience. It was the first time in my life I had seen someone whose face was as thick as a chopping block. I had paid for the food myself. Yet I was supposed to treat feeding him as a duty. The shamelessness was beyond belief. I was calculating how to anger them properly when I suddenly remembered something that still had not been resolved. My gaze moved over the remaining ingredients, and the final piece of the puzzle slipped into place. The food was no longer the point. I had finally found a natural reason to make Shen Baixin lead the entire production team, straight into the lie she had built for herself. I obediently pointed at the food and spoke softly. These ingredients need special cooking equipment to taste good. I remember Baixin said her family's villa was close to the filming location. Right. It's the final day anyway. And the food on the table is getting cold. Why don't we discuss it with the director? Take these ingredients to your villa, cook them there, and have a final gathering together. I looked at her. What do you think? Shen Baixin glanced at me in surprise. She clearly did not believe I would kindly help strengthen her wealthy Heiress image. However, the temptation to show off in front of millions of viewers and reverse the situation was too great. She did not want to miss such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The production team was even easier to persuade. As long as there was drama and popularity, changing the filming location was nothing. The director immediately waived his agreement. Shen Baixin slipped into a corner to make a phone call. When she returned, her usual arrogance had been restored. We boarded the production vans and drove straight toward the legendary luxury villa Shen Baixin frequently mentioned. The moment we stepped out of the van, my brother froze and stared at the villa. "Isn't this?" I secretly waved a hand and winked at him, signaling him to keep quiet and wait for the show to begin. Before entering the gate, Shen Baixin smoothed her dress and gave the camera her brightest smile. She had no idea. She was about to give the entire internet a guided tour of someone else's home. "Everyone seems very curious about my home. In a moment, I'll personally give you a tour." Behind the camera, I smiled too. I had to admit, it felt wonderful to come home. Shen Baixin confidently unlocked the outer gate with a key, then stepped to the front door and entered the password with practiced ease, as naturally as though this were truly her home. I stepped forward and stood beside her. "Baixin, are the last 4 digits of your home password unsuffering?" Without suspicion, she answered casually yes. "Why?" I laughed aloud. "Nothing. It just happens to be exactly the same as my birthday." What a surprise. After hearing that, Jiang Zhao choked on his saliva and coughed violently. The livestream viewers also began sensing that something was wrong. "Why is the password to Shen Baixin's house Jiang Mo's birthday? It's just a coincidence. Stop inventing conspiracy theories. Don't tell me this villa belongs to Jiang Mo's family. I'm dying. Stop daydreaming in broad daylight." After everyone entered, the production team quickly positioned fixed cameras around the house. Less than a few minutes later, a middle-aged woman wearing an apron hurried out of the kitchen. Shen Baixin immediately seized the chance to introduce her to the camera. "This is our family's housekeeper. She normally handles all the cleaning in the house. Auntie, you've worked hard." The comments again praised the princess for being kind and friendly to her servant. But I knew exactly who the woman was. She was Aunt Jiang, whom my family hired to come periodically and clean and maintain this vacant villa. Before Aunt Jiang could smile and greet the camera, her gaze collided with Jiang Zhao's. The next second, she saw me standing beside him with a faint smile. All color drained from her face. She hurried over, grabbed Shen Baixin's hand, and tried to drag her into a corner. Shen Baixin frowned in annoyance, but still forced herself to smile for the camera. "Aunt Jiang, what are you doing? I'm filming a program. Whatever it is, we can talk after recording." Aunt Jiang suddenly seemed to possess astonishing strength. Ignoring everything else, she forcibly pulled Shen Baixin into a small room and slammed the door. The atmosphere in the living room became awkward. I stepped forward and warmly played host. "Everyone, make yourselves at home. Sit down, there's water in the refrigerator. Brother, take the ingredients to the kitchen." I leisurely sank into the soft sofa, crossed my legs, and silently began counting down. 3, 2, 1. Scream came exactly on time. "Aha!" Shrill, panicked scream from Shen Baixin suddenly rang out from behind the closed door, shattering the silence. The real show was finally beginning. When Shen Baixin rushed out, her face was gray as ashes. She nearly tripped as she ran to the director and begged in a trembling voice, "Director, stop filming. Please turn off the cameras immediately." The director looked confused. "Miss Shen, are you feeling unwell?" Zhang Yi also rushed over anxiously. "Baixin, what's wrong? You look terrible." I raised one eyebrow and drawled lazily. "Baixin, are you feeling sick?" There's a medical kit in the second drawer of the bedside table, in the room on the right side of the second floor. Do you want me to get it for you? Thousands of question marks exploded across the comment screen. It's happening. Something is definitely wrong with Shen Baixin. Why does Jiang Mo know exactly where the medicine is in Shen Baixin's house? Doesn't that housekeeper seem strange to anyone else? Her features look a lot like Shen Baixin's. After glancing at the comments rushing across the production team's iPad, Shen Baixin's mind completely collapsed. She clutched her head and breathed rapidly. I slowly stood, walked step by step, until I was directly in front of her. And under the camera's unblinking lens, curved my lips into a faint smile. Baixin, are you finished pretending? Then please return the key to my house. The entire crew, from the director and camera operators to the guests and support staff, froze. For several seconds, no one seemed able to process what they had heard. The livestream chat went completely insane. Good heavens. This is unreal, the greatest plot twist in reality show history. Someone slap me and tell me this is scripted. Shen Baixin is the fake Heiress, and Jiang Mo is the real one. Showing off someone else's house on national television. You'd have to lose all sense of shame for 10 years before attempting something like this. This is definitely the most outrageous drama I've watched all year. Humiliation, disgrace, and overwhelming fear pushed Shen Baixin completely mad. Her eyes turned bloodshot. She suddenly went berserk, charged into the living room, grabbed the cameras that were still recording, and smashed them wildly, while screaming and throwing objects everywhere. Her carefully polished image as a gentle, fragile princess shattered in front of the cameras. The production team was terrified. The director hurriedly ordered 2 strong backstage workers to restrain her. Pinned to the cold floor, Shen Baixin raised her head and glared at me with poisonous hatred. Jiang Mo, you did this on purpose, didn't you? You already knew this was your house. You deliberately cornered me and let me keep acting so you could humiliate me in front of the whole world. You're jealous because I'm more famous than you. So you set a trap to ruin me. Your family is already this rich. Why did you have to expose me? Why couldn't you leave me a way out? Before I could answer her absurd, backward logic, Aunt Zhang rushed out of the room. Her legs trembled, and she dropped to her knees, repeatedly knocking her forehead against the floor before the director. Sorry. It's all my fault. Please don't scold my daughter anymore. I stole the key and gave it to her. I'll compensate you for the equipment. Please let my daughter go. The cameras, that had not been smashed, still blinked with red lights, faithfully capturing every frame of the elderly mother's desperate actions. My God. I suddenly feel sorry for that auntie. So she's Shen Baixin's biological mother. Shen Baixin called her own mother a servant. Can vanity really blind someone this much? Pitiful person, always has something hateful about them. Look at how crazily Shen Baixin smashed things. She's terrifying. Where are Shen Baixin's fans? Come out and defend your princess. Zhang Yi had quietly shrunk into a corner, beyond the camera's view. Yi and Shen Baixin were not biological siblings. They had merely been paired together for the program to borrow popularity from each other. Now, at a major scandal had erupted, he would be a fool to rush forward and share the consequences. The director quickly helped Aunt Zhang up. Watching the livestream viewer count rise in a nearly vertical line, he was secretly ecstatic. The show had exploded in popularity. It had truly become a phenomenon. Still, he had to maintain a serious expression. Auntie, you don't need to apologize to me. As long as your side compensates the full value of the damaged equipment and pays the penalty for violating the program contract. We will not make things difficult for Miss Shen. At the mention of money, Auntie Zhang staggered and nearly fell. Sage, how much is the penalty? The director stepped closer and whispered a number into her ear. Aunt Zhang looked as though she had been struck by lightning. She stumbled back 2 steps and cried in horror. So much. Shen Baixin had personally signed the participation contract, so she knew exactly how terrible the cost of breaching it would be. With her hair hanging in a disordered mess, she sat on the floor like someone who had lost her mind and sobbed to herself. Why are you treating me like this? What did I do wrong? Why were you born able to live in a magnificent house like this, while before my debut, I had to squeeze into a cramped, damp rental with my old mother? 7 is too unfair. My career had only just begun to improve, and all of you destroyed it. What right do you have to ruin me? I found it so ridiculous that I clapped loudly. I gave her a thumbs up. Every time you open your mouth, the room gets worse. Your logic is nothing but hot air. Truly impressive. My brother Jiang Zhao leisurely walked out of the kitchen holding a carrot and calmly delivered a sharp conclusion. You. The loud censor beep sounded at the perfect moment, covering the excessively vulgar curse he used on the livestream. Seeing no other solution, Aunt Jiang turned and knelt before my brother and me, crying and pleading. Mr. Jiang, Miss Jiang, I beg you, please be generous and leave Baixin a way to live. She has no evil schemes. She was merely young, impulsive, and a little vain. She's still a child. If she can't pay the contract penalty, she may go to prison. Please have mercy and save her. I'll kowtow to thank you. I coldly shook my head and stepped back to avoid her bow. Auntie, she is 22 years old. She's an adult. When an adult does something wrong, she must bear responsibility. That is the most basic principle of being human. Aunt Jiang immediately changed her attitude and began using moral pressure. Young miss, how can you say that? I've served your family and cleaned this house for so many years. That amount is pocket change to your family. But it is my daughter's entire future. Why can't you help? I did not even need to speak. The livestream audience cursed her on my behalf. What kind of thinking is that? Her daughter did wrong, so she wants the victim to pay the debt. She does not even have to touch you to make you feel disgusted. That phrase, she's still a child, makes me sick. 22-year-old child. More like a giant baby. Now, I understand why Shen Baixin is so skilled at reversing black and white and manipulating people. She inherited it from her mother. These two are masters of moral kidnapping. I lowered myself and looked directly into Shen Baixin's swollen, unfocused eyes. My voice was cold and emotionless. The articles attacking my brother's character and accusing him of violent behavior. The marketing accounts that spread them. And the paid commenters who cursed us constantly over the past few days, you paid for all of that, didn't you? I continued. Unfortunately for you, I contacted the platform directly and obtained the full transaction records and IPA evidence. Sad to that today's theft of a key and your unauthorized entry into my family's private property. I will formally file a lawsuit against you. After speaking, I lifted my chin toward the corner, where Shang Yi was trembling and trying to make himself small. Right, I nearly forgot your adopted brother, the so-called little Jiang Zhao. I also collected sufficient evidence that he joined you in purchasing smear articles against my brother. The two of you can stay home and wait for the court summons. Shang Yi stood frozen, as though struck by lightning. His pale lips moved repeatedly, but his throat had stiffened, and he could not produce a single word in his defense. Once I had finished with them, I turned to the director with a calm, polite smile. Director, have we recorded enough footage for today? The director wiped the sweat from his forehead and nodded repeatedly, immediately signaling the technical team. The livestream screen, once packed with comments rushing like a waterfall, abruptly went black. Once the livestream ended, the scandal spread faster than anyone could control. Within minutes of the screen going dark, every insane development from the livestream swept across the platform's rankings. Shen Baixin, fake Heiress, Shang Yi and Shen Baixin fake siblings, Shen Baixin's paid commenters, the Jiang family's luxury villa. When the edited version of the show was later rebroadcast, the comments beneath it were more harmonious and united than ever before. The Jiang siblings' fighting power is so satisfying. That sweet-faced, ruthless little sister is exactly my type. Save me. From now on, anyone who dares call Jiang Zhao violent will have to fight me. Zut, at how obediently he acts after being beaten into tears by his little sister. Not only did Shen Baixin's image collapse, but my cool Jiang Zhao's mask fell off too. Whenever I remember that he was beaten into tears by his sister, I can no longer look directly at his domineering CIO aura. The Lin siblings are a feast for the eyes too. I bet my favorite snack that Crown Prince Lin and Jiang Mo have something going on. I ship Lin Zhao and Jiang Mo instead. Those two girls cling together so sweetly I could faint. From that day on, false rumors about my brother never again appeared on the trending rankings. As for me, I unwillingly became the nation's little sister in the eyes of tens of millions of fans. Half a month later, both Shen Baixin and Shang Yi received court summonses. Zhang Yi quickly paid out of his own pocket to compensate for the damage, lowered his head, and posted a public apology on his personal social media account. Then announced that he was leaving the entertainment industry. Shen Baixin was not so fortunate. Her greed and hunger for fame and profit pushed her into the deepest mud. The contract penalty, combined with compensation for the reputational damage she had caused, was far beyond anything she could pay. In the end, she was thoroughly blacklisted by the entire entertainment industry and burdened with an enormous debt she might never finish repaying. My family dismissed Aunt Zhang immediately. After that, she had no choice but to follow her grown daughter and work herself to exhaustion trying to repay the debt. As for me, I did not exactly walk away without consequences. More than half of summer break had passed. Yet I had not made a single stroke on the pile of design assignments my professor had given me. After that eventful reality show recording, the drama starring my brother climbed to #1 among the summer's most popular shows. That moment, on the television screen, my brother's eternally cold face was glaring at the female lead, as though she owed him 8 million yuan. Jiang Zhao roared on television, "I'm telling you, Yi Fan. Today you are not the one ending things with me. I'm breaking up with you. I'll drown all our memories at the bottom of the sea, along with this phone." I propped my iPad beside the desk, bit the end of my pen, and felt 100 complicated emotions twisting inside me. Some people were passionately in love. Some people were taking romantic walks beside the sea at night. And some people were frantically rushing to finish their summer assignments at 3:30 in the morning. What a memorable summer vacation.